The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by the personal injury attorneys Kaufman and Lind at whenyouneedus.com. If you're injured in a car accident or any other injuries, give them a call 407-706-3535. That's whenyouneedus.com. So what about the crazy cat lady who only has cats and all of her cats died? What is she now called?
Sarah owns a cat, so I'm going to let you take this one away, Sarah. If you listen.
Lonely.
Don't feel on the
Be
spot.
lonely. That's
See?
about it.
Just a lonelier.
Lonely, yeah, just lonely.
Lonelier.
Sad.
More an emotion than a title, you know.
Or what about Amanda Teague, who married the dead pirate ghost? Like okay, so she married a ghost.
Right.
What happens when the ghost dies?
No, you're
ghost.
You're a widow when you become married. You as soon as you sign the papers, you're a
You
widow.
start off a widow, yeah. I agree with that. However, if the ghost resolves its unfinished business and then passes on even further, you become... That's the difference between a widow and a widower. You become a widowess.
That was
I feel
funny.
bad for laughing at my own joke, but I do it all the time.
And now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris.
Come on, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted #1 by our friends and family. We are the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. If you'd like to connect with us on the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitch, the TikTok, all of our social media links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our sweet merchandise and also join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. That is our Patreon. You can watch us record this thing live for as little as $2 a month. My name is Scott. I am the host. With me, as always, he is our scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna lead with this. I'm so used to it. I'm gonna pull back the curtain. I don't have a movie quote for tonight because I look up a movie quote and you're introducing Mary. It takes you like 2 minutes to introduce Mary, and I find my little movie quote. Then today, I'm totally caught off guard. I have no movie quote tonight. I'm looking through them and I've done them all already. I'm in the top 100 movie quotes. I've done them all already. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint.
You've quoted every line from every film ever.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not. If I was a betting man, I'd say yes, but I'm not a betting man.
Oh, well, can I put my first plug in for the night? It's like I'm a guest on the show. That's what people do, right?
Yeah, go for it. So first of all, our producer, Alex.
Hey, happy to be here.
And joining us tonight, filling in for Mary, who is under the weather, from the Don't Wreck Yourself podcast, Ryan.
Also feeling under the weather, but that's okay. I'm muscling through it. I've got half the disease that Mary has tonight.
This is your flu game. And also, Mrs. Nerd Archive, Sarah.
Hello.
Thank you guys both so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It was a short last minute. So first of all, Ryan, you host the Don't Wreck Yourself podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, Don't Wreck Yourself is I'm debating whether to describe it as a comedy podcast for information enthusiasts or an information podcast for comedy enthusiasts. It really depends on the topic and my mood and how drunk I am. Basically what we do is we take topics from the internet and memes and questions from Reddit, and we quality control the internet. So for example, this week we touched a little bit on your home state of Florida. We talked about a meme that claims that a man from Florida purchased an M61 Vulcan, which is a 6-foot long Gatling gun that fires 6,000 rounds per minute. We explored whether it was true, whether you could do it, and how much it would ultimately cost you to do it.
You know, some of the questions that you guys bring up on your episodes, like, is falling in lava painful? Just, first of all, I thought it was a ridiculous question, but the way that you guys handled that, you're like, well, yeah, it may hurt for a sec. It's brilliant how you guys handle that.
Well, thank you for lying to people and telling them that we're brilliant.
Listen, you're a lot smarter than Chris and I, okay? Chris can't even find a goddamn movie quote. He's got all week to find one.
Wow.
You live in Florida where you're basically falling into lava every single day. So I live up north. I'm originally from Maine. I'm not going to deal with the heat that you have down there. I used to live in South Carolina. It's like swimming to your car. No, thank you.
Right. And Mrs. Nerd Archive, Sarah. So I've got to know. So your husband Lewis, who's been on our show before, huge nerd, host of the No New Nerds podcast, the Nerd Archive podcast.
Nailed it.
So yeah, right. So his hobby collection, collecting all the lightsabers and all the nerdy stuff. Are you into that stuff too, or are you annoyed by it? What's the dynamic like there?
No, actually, I'm surprised you called it his collection because it's really not his collection. It's both of our collection. And I am a massive enabler. 100%.
Wow.
Emily enables Chris too, so it's fine.
I get it. We were just talking about it yesterday that we're actually going to Puerto Rico over the weekend for my birthday.
Oh,
and
nice. Happy birthday.
Thank you. My last year of my 20s. So yeah, we're gonna live it up.
Oh no.
I know. He reminds me all the time. But we were talking about it and I said, normally we go to the theme park like for 2-day stretch and hang out there. And I was doing the math and I said, okay, so we go to Disney, we buy a couple of lightsabers. It's like $400 in the whole. And then you got to pay for the hotel and everything. So I was like, let's just fly to Puerto Rico. So
yeah, save a little bit of money.
Exactly. The lightsabers are always included in that, but I'm a huge enabler.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Lewis is a big tech guy. What's the craziest household gadget that you guys have purchased together?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, we have a setup, which is very nice. That's the most recent one that we've put a lot of time and money and research into. But I'm old school all the way. You will find me playing on my Game Boy. You'll find me watching VHS tape. I'm really not into all of the technology like he is. I'm more vintage and he's more modern for sure.
Okay. All right. Ryan, what about you? The craziest like household gadget that you have purchased?
Oh my gosh, craziest household gadget. Probably all this damn podcasting equipment.
Right.
Which my wife, I will be honest with you, although she has not vetoed it, she had no input into its purchase. I'm pretty straightforward. Most of your gadgets that you find are going to be in the kitchen. I am a huge antagonist towards the single-use kitchen item industry.
Okay.
So I'd say the most common household gadget that I bought is I bought no less than 3 Instant Pots because you got to get your rice going at the same time as your pork. Like you've got multiple things that you need instantly, and it's not instant if you don't have more than one. We also have a Roomba. His name is Julian. And he does no work because our house is too messy for our vacuum cleaner.
You could just call him Chris Yob because Chris Yob does no work. So Chris and your Roomba have a lot in common.
That's fair.
He prefers to go by Julian. I don't call you human being. He is Julian. Julian the janitor.
So Chris, so you have Astro, which is your home security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know
real quick,
I'll
tell you what. I had to shut him down yesterday, and I felt horrible because someone was doing the flooring yesterday in our office, and Astro like he'll just wander around by himself. So I can't have him like getting in the way of this guy. So I brought him in my room. I said, Astro, go to Chris's office. And he goes in there. She just be called my playroom because that's where I play all my games and stuff every day. But anyway, so I said, go to Chris's office. He goes to my office. And the saddest thing ever, I had to power him down. And like he has eyes. So he was just staring at me while I'm powering him down. I felt like I was like, Will Smith in I Am Legend when he kills his dog. Like I just felt like I was doing that to Astro. And it was like and his dead corpse is just sitting in my room. I have to look at him like the whole day trying to get not work done while he's just laying lifeless there. So anyway, thank you for hashing that.
Think of him as a memorial to himself.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
Like a robot dog just turns into a statue.
People do that actually. Not Scott though. Scott does. Scott turns it into something else.
So you said you had to turn him down, right?
Yeah, I had to power him down.
It's kind of like my wife does to me anytime I want to go to Costco. It's like, no, turn down. No. All right. So the reason why I bring this up is we just made a purchase. In fact, we made 2 purchases. Okay. And no, it's not a sex robot. I actually don't own a sex robot yet. So we bought self-cleaning litter boxes.
Oh,
okay.
Not one, but 2 of them.
Wow.
For a grand total of like $1,400.
Have you gotten a chance to use it yet?
I just relieved myself in there. Thank you for asking, Ryan.
I'm sitting in
Now,
it right
listen.
now.
Yeah, it's actually sitting on it. So this thing's actually really badass because we've got two cats, and the female cat, if there's anything in that litter box, she'll just piss on the floor, and she's like ruining our hardwood. Plus it smells. Plus I have to clean it up. So we're like changing these litter boxes twice a week. That's a lot of litter. So my wife's like, no, you know what? We're going to buy these self-cleaning litter boxes. She, of course, did months of research, kind of like everybody in Florida doing their own research, and and found this one, and it's pretty badass. So when the cat goes in there, there's a little digital display, and it shows a picture of a cat, indicating that there's a cat in there, and then the cat jumps out. And the cat on the front goes away, and then there's a little countdown clock, and then all of a sudden the whole thing like tips this way. The visuals don't work on a podcast, but it tips up, and this little like rake comes out, and all the droppings, the poop, the clumped up piss, and all that just falls on this grate, and then it goes into this receptacle in the back, and then resets, and then it like evens out all the litter. It's pretty badass, but like. We've gone too far. Like we used to have a regular coffee machine. Now we have an espresso. We used to have litter boxes. Now we have these like, what's the Skynet litter boxes. It's insane.
It's very uncharacteristic for like a rich white family to own things that make like easy things easier. As I'm kind of surprised that you got something like that.
Yeah. Well, so that's why I brought it up, to see kind of the most ridiculous thing that you guys have purchased.
I purchased it. So I live in the country, and I live next to a horse farm with a barn. And oh my God, I hope my kids aren't allowed to listen to this podcast, so I don't think there's going to be an issue here. But one of the barn cats was wandering into our yard, and eventually, the kids would pet it, and it was really friendly, and we started feeding it. And then it started living with us. And then it more or less kind of almost became our cat. But I never bought a cat. I never sought out a pet cat. And after a while, cats, they need to go to the vet if you want to keep them around for a long period of time.
That's
and there's
true.
like, he was dragging his ass across the yard. He'd get skinny. Every winter he'd get matted with fur. Then the mats would fall out. It looked very uncomfortable. And then eventually one of my neighbors called me. He's like, hey, your cat's dead over here. And I said, oh, well, one, it's not my cat, but I'll get my shovel. So I buried the cat in my yard, and then some wild animal, because I live in the country, some wild animal dug it up, and then I buried it again. Some wild animal dug it up. It's very, like, I'm going through some serious emotional trauma here, and I see the cat in Sarah's background on this video feed.
I know.
And I felt
like he heard that.
I felt awful about the situation that his cat found itself in, but technically it's not my cat. It's the owner of the barn's cat. We were just being nice to it. But at one point I did buy an automatic feeder that was designed to, it's set up on a timer, or you could, through an app on your phone, feed it that way. And I bought that, but I never set it up because all of the instructions were in Chinese, and like, there's no way that the people who sold me this cat feeder are getting any of my information. So that might be the craziest gadget that I've bought.
So automatic,
I still have the
automatic
feeder,
feeder. So it
if you
feeds.
want
It just feeds on a time. It just feeds automatically.
Yeah. You can program it. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
You are what's the introduction here? The scumbag.
What was it today?
Scumbag
Yes.
reselling hoarder.
Yeah.
I have something to resell. Can you help me?
I'll tell you what. If it's an automatic feeder, Scott might want to buy it off.
It's completely unused.
Hey, anything that'll feed Scott automatically, he might be interested. So we're gonna have to exchange numbers after the podcast.
That's
The easiest sale of your life. Name your price.
We'll just fill it with pills. It's Florida. What do you?
Oh, wow. No, the pills are for Mary. Mary and Chris do the pills. I do
we do the pills.
I'm the
Fill
excessive food
Pepto-Bismol.
eater.
Yeah, I might be the interested buyer if we fill it with Pepto-Bismol.
Could you? Oh my God! Could you imagine Chris with an automatic Pepto-Bismol thing? I mean, he would look like a little hamster because he's not as big as a cat.
Oh, seriously, I would. If they sold Narcan but Pepto-Bismol, I'd buy it in a second. You need that. Someone needs to invent that. Think about it. Just shoot yourself up with the Pepto-Bismol. It just works instantly. I wake up with acid reflux. I just use it right in the morning. Stab myself right in the leg with the Pepto. Someone's cut that out, Alex. Don't let people hear this. I'm gonna actually try that.
Yeah, maybe the part where I murdered a cat. Leave that out too.
So Alex pretty much cut out the whole first segment. You can talk about the automatic cat litter box thing, but the rest of it, just plug in half an episode of Diz His. That'll be fine. That'll be family friendly. And
keep in the
just pretend we
Scott
talked
Fatch
about
joke.
Hitachi ones the entire time.
Exactly. Did you guys ever have those little gigabets thing? A little Chris, do you know what a gigapet is?
A Tamagotchi?
I've always been an adult.
I've always been an
Oh,
adult.
okay.
A gigapet?
Yeah, isn't that what those were called? The
No,
little
it sounds like a
Tamagotchi?
racial slur for a robot. I don't know a gigapet?
Listen, I didn't use the hard R, okay? I'm good.
Oh, my
There's
God.
no R in Gigapet. Where are you putting your
Yeah,
hard
man.
R's, Scott?
Wow.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Not to me. Not to me.
This is Alex. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Just turn this knob and... All right, there we go. I think I got it. Now it's time for Alex's last words. Please, no. Hold the applause, please. I gotta interrupt here and at the end of the segment 1, which so far the podcast has been hilarious. Scott brought up Gigapets and Chris mentioned Tamagotchi. That takes me back to better times when all I had to do was collect Pokemon cards and take care of my virtual pet. So let's get to the history of Gigapets and Tamagotchi. Gigapets were created in 1995 as V-Pets by Chicago toy inventing firm REHCO LLC. They licensed the concept to Tiger Electronics. In 1996, Tamagotchi, which was an egg-shaped virtual pet, were introduced in Japan by Bandai. In 1997, Gigapets were released and cost $10, compared to Tamagotchi's price of $15. Gigapets and Tamagotchi released multiple versions of their toys, while both making deals with different large IPSs like Warner Brothers and Disney. By 1996, Tamagotchi sold over 82 million units worldwide. Gigapets sold much less. By 1998, the virtual pet sales plummeted by nearly 80% in the United States. In 2018, Top Secret Toys LLC relaunched Gigapets with newer features like the ability to augment reality. Bandai also re-released Tamagotchi, but in 2004, with a new Tamagotchi mix, allowing you to mix the genes of 2 Tamagotchis to make a baby. Disney has partnered with Tamagotchi to release soon Toy Story Tamagotchis. Each toy will allow access to multiple characters. There is also news of a Grogu Tamagotchi being developed as well. These will retail for $19.99.
All right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, looking for another way to listen to the No New Friends podcast? We are now featured on Glacier FM. That's GLACER.FM.com. Just go to the music channels and go to Glacier Underground. That is Glacier, GLACER. And you can hear us Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, that is GlacierFM.com.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Hey there, Scott here. You all know I like to spend time wandering the neighborhood on my big wheels or hanging out at the park with my fedora and my Bud Light. So I don't have time to clean my own house. That's why I've been using I Believe services for the past 6-7 years, and they're the best in commercial and residential cleaning. They're also doing carpet shampooing at such a reasonable price. Just check them out. That's IBelieveServices.us. Give them a call, 407-928-4595, and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Hello, this is Bua Job. I'm from the West Africa. We are listening to a new friend in podcasts.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris. Mary's not here today, so sitting in for Mary is Ryan from the Don't Wreck Yourself podcast and Mrs. Nerd Archive, Sarah. Now, Chris, you're holding a wine glass right there like a woman, okay?
What do you mean?
well,
There's no stem. There's only one way to hold a glass with no stem.
No,
But
is
what
he
does it
hol-
say on that?
Well, listen, I'm holding it like the skull in a Leto.
Time out.
Ryan, what were you going to say?
There's some structural ambiguity in your syntax there. You said he's holding it like a woman. Is he holding the wine glass as if he's a woman, or is he holding the wine glass like he's caressing the body of a woman?
And secondly, did you assume my gender, Scott?
No, he assumed the gender of your wine glass.
That's even worse, I think, because now I can be sexist to this wine glass because you just assumed my wine glass's gender.
You could just be like me and put a straw in it.
I've tried that, but
You don't need a wine glass.
Yeah, but then then it looks like he's sucking on a penis.
yeah,
Time
that
out.
makes it fun even more. Yeah,
Time out, Chris. Shame on you.
for what?
How dare you accuse Scott of assuming the gender of your wine glass? What does your wine glass say on it, Chris?
Oh, my wine glass is Miss to Mrs. Actually,
Oh,
You're
I can
right.
see the miss too.
Yeah,
It just says
Miss to
misses as
Mrs.
far as I can see.
but it could be. but it could be a gay wine glass. Hear me out. Miss to Misters. Maybe it's a widowed gay person, and they miss
Oh no.
their dead spouse, and now it's going to be to Misters. I'm going to start an Etsy shop for
Alex,
For
cut that out
diverse
before
wine
someone else
glasses.
steals the idea.
It's a damn good idea, actually.
Just catering to all those people who got gay married since 2011, I think, or 2012. When
Yeah,
did,
but
when did the
Miss-
Supreme Court when
Well,
did the Supreme Court allow gay marriage?
Definitely before 2016.
Right. But what I'm saying is all those people who have been married since then, their spouses are going to start dying tragically, and there has to be somebody there to capitalize on it, or this isn't America.
Listen, we're going to talk after this podcast. We have a lot of stuff to talk about after this podcast, Ryan.
I think we need to start a business.
I think we do. for gay widows. I don't see
Wine
how this
glasses
doesn't
for
work.
gay widows.
Yeah, I don't see how this doesn't work. Actually,
No, it's great. It's an underserved market.
it is. Who's serving gay widows? No one that I know. Definitely not the Republicans. And so
No.
listen, that's half the country, right? So we can capitalize on someone that oh man, I'm writing this down right now on my notepad.
Okay, so this brings up because I'm an idiot. So when a wife's husband dies, she's a widow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
When a man's wife dies, he becomes a widower. Correct.
Correct.
he becomes free.
Wow. Oh my god. So he becomes a widower. So when a gay couple, when one of their partners dies, what are they called?
Wow.
It depends. Well, this is getting into gender identification. So really, they are whatever they say they are. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
their spouse just died.
They can be whatever they want. Yeah.
So I guess if
Whatever pronoun they feel most comfortable with is like, am I a widow or a widower? Does not matter. They'll let you know. Like
Maybe
a
they're
vegan.
just sad. Maybe I'm just sad. They can be really. They're the blueprint. They can be whatever they want. You have a good point there.
huh?
Who's going to argue
And-
with them? Their
Right.
their spouse just died. Scott, are you insensitive?
Look, this is a
God.
hypothetical situation here. Okay, nobody's dying right now that I know of.
Wow.
Plausible deniability. Good job.
So what about the crazy cat lady who only has cats and all of her cats die? What is she now called?
Sarah owns a cat, so I'm going to let you take this one away, Sarah. What would, if you listen?
Lonely.
Don't feel on the
Be
spot.
lonely. That's
See?
about it.
Just a lonelier.
Just lonely. Yeah, just lonely.
Lonelier.
Sad.
More an emotion than a title, you know.
Or what about Amanda Teague, who married the dead pirate ghost? Like so she married a ghost.
Right.
What happens when the ghost dies?
No,
The
you're
ghost.
you're a widow when you become married. You as soon as you sign the papers, you're a
You
widow.
start off a widow. Yeah, I agree with that. However, if the ghost resolves its unfinished business and then passes on even further, you become. That's the difference between a widow and a widower. You become a widowess.
A widowess. That was
I feel bad for laughing at my own joke, but I do it all the time.
No, you should. That was really good. That was really good. Interesting. We're gonna have to do a lot of. Where's Steve the intern when we need him? I think he jumped ship. He's now working for Dane on Big Beautiful Diz. Yeah.
Wait, there's interns just floating around servicing independent podcasts for presumably no money.
Yeah, our fictional intern has left us actually.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he left us, went to Nerd Archive for a while.
Okay.
And now he's working for Big Beautiful Diz. So speaking of dead cats and burying things, Ryan, you were an archaeologist like Indiana Jones at one point.
I was nothing like Indiana Jones except that I worked in Israel, and that is the one place where you can get a job in archaeology based solely upon the qualification of being willing to punch a Nazi.
So you weren't running away from big balls or anything like that.
Running towards big balls, I think, would be. What is like? I feel a little bit on the spot there as far as that goes. If anything, I think you living in Florida near the Disneyland Resort would be more familiar with the works of Indiana Jones and running away from big balls. As there's a video that I saw recently of a Indiana Jones actor getting crushed by the ball on the Indiana Jones Experience set.
Wow. I don't think first of all, it's foam, so he wasn't crushed.
Wow.
By big balls. Sorry. Spoiler alert. It's foam.
Yeah. Also, if you're not running away from the balls in Florida, they don't really like you down there.
Right. Exactly. And listen, if they're like cleanly shaven balls, then they're probably using Manscaped, right, Chris?
It's funny you should say that, Scott, because I've never felt cleaner. My lawnmower has been running towards the balls because support for the No New Friends podcast is brought to you by who else but Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently released the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package, which you have to check out. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Worldwide, so that means even Bubba Job over in the Gambia can get this for free shipping. With the code NNF, as in N for new, N for no, F for friends, and an F. Use that code at manscaped.com, get you 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Move to England if you want. Use that code. You're getting shipping for free. And guess what?
Yeah, you'll probably need a new dentist though. But
ouch. But guess what? You're gonna be so groomed. I'll tell you what. Listen, we just got sent the beard hedgers, right, Scott?
Yeah, it just came out. Just
coincidentally have right on our desk because I don't leave. I literally shave. I trim at my desk now because it's wireless. First of all, don't even have to be connected to the wall. I'm trimming the car.
I can charge it on my computer.
You could, which would be weird, but you could. Because it's possible.
It's USB-C? Only weird if you don't have an OnlyFans.
That is true.
Right.
That is true.
That's what we
that's
should
a good
do,
opportunity.
Chris.
Wow. That's a Ryan, we really need to talk. So we got sent this beard hedger from Manscaped, #ad, #presented by Manscaped. And I'll tell you what, when I first started using it, I had a longer beard than this, Scott. As you can notice, my beard is now shorter.
It looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of liking it. The wife likes it, so that means I like it. So I did not love this for a long beard, Scott. I'm going to be completely honest to all our listeners. We have to be genuine about this product. Did not love it for the long beard, but guess what? I got the beard down shorter. And now, first of all, the wife likes the shorter beard, so they don't look as homeless anymore. And now to maintain this short beard, it's amazing. Because guess what? Happy wife, happy life. I trim now in the shower because this thing is waterproof. Can't electrocute yourself while using, which is great. And don't have to trim over the sink anymore and have a clogged sink with all the beard hair trimmings. Just do it right in the shower.
Just a clogged bathtub.
Yeah, easier to use the plunger in the bathtub than the sink.
Yeah,
Ryan, trust me. Yeah. But no, I'm serious. I like this thing.
What I love about it is I was using like my head clippers that I shave my head with, and I've got to put the number 3 guard on and take that off, and it doesn't get like the neck beard.
Yeah,
I look homeless as well when the neck beard grows out.
You're not a good look.
And even with the head clippers, it doesn't get a clean shave. This thing gives a great shave. It's got the adjustable guard on it, so I can go up to the 10 millimeters, just like my number 3 guard. So they don't just have ball trimmers. They've got the beard trimmers. This just came out, and they sent it to us the day after it came out. They've got all sorts of lotions, not for going to Costco by yourself, but you
Yeah.
know, some like grooming lotions and,
but you
and,
could.
and stuff like
You
that.
could.
You could.
I mean, we're
You
not telling you
could.
not to, but we're
not
still
telling you
for
not
that.
to.
Yeah.
In fact, it may work great. I don't know, but they've got Beard Balm, which also may great going to who knows?
All
Who
they
knows,
care
but
about
there's
is turning
so
product
much
in the warehouse. They don't care how you're using it when you
Yeah.
get it at home.
Listen, try it and let us know. Email videos to Scott at and Scott. I wasn't familiar with this, but the beard is actually measured in millimeters. Scott's very used to measuring things in millimeters, so he was able to tell me that the 1 through 10 is in fact millimeters, which I did not know
Yeah,
when
but you
shaving
know
my
what?
beard.
Listen, millimeters aside, after using the Lawnmower 4.0, now it appears to be 12 millimeters. So
I'm just impressed somebody in
we're
Florida
doing-
understands metric.
You have to work with
Listen,
what you got,
we don't
Ryan.
understand much. I just read it in a book once.
And
And
listen,
when I say
this
Reddit,
is-
there was pictures.
It was on Reddit.
And listen, it was on Reddit.
And it was a picture.
And listen, Manscaped is a company for men, right? But Sarah, if you want to go through your Miley Cyrus stage and just shave off your hair, I mean, this thing shaves pretty quickly, and it's waterproof, so you can do it while you're crying in the shower. Like if you have one of those mental breakdown days, just in the shower crying, like I do every Tuesday, just go right under the shower and shave all of your hair off.
Time out.
No, it's
Time out.
almost
I'm gonna-
like you guys know that Lewis literally trimmed his beard last night, and there was just I got out of the shower and it was everywhere.
Oh,
All
see,
of it.
it's a problem.
So,
It's a real problem.
I know.
Trust me, I hear about it every single time I shave my beard, which is not
Yeah.
often, but now it will be. And it would be in the shower this time. Goes right down the drain for a while.
I'm firing
until
my
it fogs
barber.
up.
You can count 7,000,001 Manscaped users in the world.
Nice.
It's a good company. I'm really happy with this partnership. It feels
It's a
right.
perfect fit for us.
If
We
yeah.
like talking about balls, apparently.
Yeah. With all that being said, get 20% off and free shipping with the code NNF at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use NNF. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
So Ryan says, this is funny. Ryan just brought up in chat. He likes to trim his beard into a towel and leave in the bathroom like a hair time bomb for his wife to find. Ryan, I do the exact same thing. I have a towel that I've been using and I never shake it out. It's probably 3 years worth of me. Like you could grow another me at this point. In fact, I could probably put it together and make my own toupee or something. There's that much like hair from when I would grow out the sides a little bit too much and I was lazy. There's just hair in there. So
Well, you're a bad
not the only
person.
one. I am a bad
Both
person.
of you.
My
Both
wife
of
says
you are
the same
bad
thing.
people. Like I'm gonna
Right.
go out and I'm gonna stand up for your wives here. First of all, you should be helping cleaning up those towels. Second of all, you should not be leaving your pubes lying around for them to find, unless you're leaving it as kind of like a happy trail, Hansel and Gretel style, and then trying to lure them into your little Costco made of gingerbread.
Pretty romantic, actually. Cheaper than rose petals, too.
Much
And it works
cheaper.
perfectly
And then-
because it'll grow back after 6 months, which is how often you have sex. Perfect.
And you know what? You don't leave any mystery or questions because like the rose petals on the like, oh, what are the flowers on here? When you leave the pube trail, you know what that is. It's like, oh, you know what you're getting yourself into. You follow that, you know what's going to come at the end.
I'm sorry to ruin your podcast on my first time.
Glacier FM listeners, I'm sorry. A little explicit. It's fine. It's fine.
We had a good run.
Everything's
we had a
fine.
good run.
We had a good. This is the one that gets us canceled off Glacier.
Don't worry. Once you get canceled, you guys can come on to my show, ruin that, and then we'll all be unhoused together.
Oh, perfect. Unhoused.
Because obviously my podcast is keeping the lights on here.
Right. So, Sarah, you've got a podcast coming up.
We're attempting.
So are we actually.
Yeah.
Welcome to
That's
the
all you
club.
can do.
Join the group.
It's like
That's all this is.
doctors open practices, so don't feel bad about your podcast.
Well, the name is not definitive yet. The subject is not definitive yet. So we'll figure it out as we go along.
Listen, we're in the same boat. We've been doing this for almost 2 years, and the subject is still, we don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah, and Sarah, talk about names. We don't even know what our name means.
No, we have no idea. People ask me all the time, what's the name of your podcast? I'm like, the No New Friends Podcast. I'm like, what's it about? And I'm like, adulting. And they're like, then why the No New Friends podcast? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know why we named it that.
Like, Sarah, this is your first time on the show too, right?
It is.
How's it feel to know that you're not their friend?
I feel very welcomed, honestly. This is my second podcast episode ever. So,
Wow.
Yes. One with the Nerd Archive and one here. So, I made an impression though, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you've got a great radio voice. You're super funny. I listened to the episode of Nerd Archive podcast that you were on. So I was very concerned inviting you on because, we've never met and our subject matter is a little bit edgy. We're talking about balls. We're talking about leading a trail of pubes to the end of the rainbow. So I didn't quite know how, how you were going to, I texted your husband. I was like, hey, just prepare her. Like, this is a little edgy.
No,
are you
that's
okay?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally fine. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You did a shot of
we
tequila
actually-
beforehand.
I drank an entire mimosa. No, that's fine.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
On an empty
Fit right
stomach,
in.
so it works perfectly.
He
Actually handed it to me and was like, "Here, do you want a pregame?" Absolutely.
Mary's not going to be on tonight. Have a mimosa.
No, we actually
one
listen
out
to the
then.
podcast all the time.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm a big fan of it, so I was glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much. All right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. When we come back, we've got our adulting question of the week, Chris's Cliff Notes, Jersey Man, Florida Man, much more. Don't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere. It's a podcast. You're pausing it if you got to work or whatever, but you're not really going anywhere because it's not radio. It's a podcast. Anyway, we'll be right back.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Remy, from Remy's Roundtable. Remy's Roundtable is a podcast for all of our listeners who would like to know what's going on here in the beautiful state of Florida, whether it has to be the Florida theme parks, the Florida sports, and of course we cover your top Florida headlines. We also bring the 5-Minute Professor every single month to give us our lecture and quiz on any topic that we would like to learn. So guys, do not go anywhere. You are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Picture St. Augustine, Florida, 2022. You're on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour with all of your ghoul friends. The air grows colder, you turn the corner, and there she is, Ghost Mary. Okay, you probably won't run into Ghost Mary. You may see a ghost named Mary. I'm not really 100% sure, but the tour guides for the Night Watchman Ghost Tour from See America Tours do know it is the only 4D ghost tour in St. Augustine. So if you have ever wondered what a ghost smells like, well, now is your chance. And right now they have a scary good deal going on. Enter the promo code NNF, as in No New Friends, and receive 25% off your Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So visit them at seeamericatours.net. That is SEE americatours.net. Okay, bye.
Lizard people, the moon landing, birds aren't real. Hi, this is Chris from the No New Friends podcast. And if you're hearing this message, you were selected to join the resistance. For as low as $1 a month, join our Patreon and help us uncover the truth. Upon joining us, you will be invited to our secret Discord, where we help spread these truths. You will be invited to watch our live recordings where the government cannot interfere. For more information, please send a messenger pigeon to my underground bunker or visit us at www.nonewfriendspodcast.com. This message will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is comedian Miguel Colon, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with, I almost did it again. I almost did it, the podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris, and special guest this week from Don't Wreck Yourself Pod, Ryan, and Mrs. Nerd Archive, Sarah.
You're good at wrecking
I'm all
plugs, for sure.
I am wrecking plugs.
He's wrecked so many plugs.
Yes, I have. Okay, so are you guys ready for the adulting question of the week?
Sure.
That wasn't a
I'll
rhetorical
answer.
It's a coin toss. I've been adulting all week, and
Yeah.
I'm ready to relax and be a child again, and here you are ruining it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
This is a really good one, guys. Okay. So this is edited to add. Thank you so much for the responses. I genuinely didn't have enough experience to know anything working in the industry to ask. Now I can confidently tell him to keep that stuff to himself. Here's the question. Posting for a friend. Yeah, right. What's the protocol or etiquette around giving your number to a stripper? I have a guy friend that really wants to give his number to one of the girls, but isn't sure of the proper etiquette there, or if it's even cool. I work under the assumption that they're there for work and they're there to pay, and we're there to pay for a skilled service, and they couldn't give an F because they get numbers all the time. As in, they're flirting with you as much as a cashier at the store when they're pleasant. Of course, they're being nice. It's literally their job. You're not special because you got a lap dance. Thoughts? Preference on opinions from any current or former dancers. Oh, so I don't know that we can even respond. So what are your thoughts? Is it okay to give the stripper your number? Sarah, let's start with you. What do you think?
Okay, so my only strip club experience was on a Tuesday night in Daytona Beach, Florida. So I don't know.
That's definitely the D squad right there.
It was terrible.
Dedication.
It was a pregame of we did Cards Against Humanity, and every time
wait, Sarah.
So
your pregame for Cards Against Humanity was a strip club?
No. Okay, so
when's your next game night?
The pregame was the Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we went to a local bar, and it was Cards Against Humanity night, and you could change. It was teams around the entire bar, and you could change out your cards if you bought a flight of tequila. Well, being that tequila is my preference, it was just continuous. And a couple of my friends and their husbands were like, "Hey, let's go to the strip club." Again, it's Tuesday night in Daytona Beach. So the strippers that I saw, I don't think they'd be getting any numbers from anybody at all. We left when husbands were playing bongos on body parts. So I was done after that. So I don't think they'd be getting any numbers at all. But that's it.
Counterpoint. Tuesday night at the strip club is when your number is probably going to be most well received.
That is very
because
true.
The pros come in on Friday and Saturday. It's the B, C, and D squad that's working on Tuesday night. And
Have
they
you
might be
seen
like,
a Daytona
hey.
Beach B, C, and D squad before?
So this is going to blow Scott's mind, but I did work at a strip club briefly.
Of course you did. You've done everything.
I worked as a bouncer at the Brass Stables in Nashville, Tennessee.
The Brass Stables.
for about 2 weeks. It was 100% under the table.
Nice.
Okay, they were paying me $10 an hour.
Oh, the pay.
And so this is literally my third or fourth night of working, and the owner fired me because there were some people across the street that were making some trouble, and she's like, "Go do something about that." And I said, "You know what? They're across the street. There's nothing I can do about that. They're across
Did
the
the
street."
guy's mom get scared and then made him move with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air?
I hope so. That's a much nicer environment than the Brass Stables in Nashville, Tennessee. But yeah, so she fired me because she didn't feel like I'd protect the club. And it's like, you know what, for $10 an hour, I like at the time I was in the Army, and for $10 an hour under the table, no, I'm definitely not going to do anything to protect anybody other than say, hey, you can't touch that and you need to leave. Hey, please, you can't sleep here. That's the extent of it.
Right. Huh.
As far as like giving numbers to dancers, I mean, it really depends. Have a conversation with them first. Don't just slip them your number. You know, you can throw a $5 bill at them or a $20 bill and they'll be like, oh, he likes me. $20 worth. Who gives a shit? But yeah, if have a conversation with the person. Find out what their major is.
I can assure you most of their majors are just disappointment.
And then you can ascertain whether or not that's a lie.
how many kids they have, how many baby daddies they have. That's really the appropriate question.
Well, and I've got friends who have been dancers, and I've known a lot of dancers, and dancers are real people. So this question is no different than if you were to ask whether to pass your phone number on to a barista or somebody working the checkout line at the Walmart. The answer is no, they're at work. Obviously there are exceptions. If they give you their number first, I think it's fair game. You could ask for, you could ask for their number, but don't just give them your number. Treat them like a human being. That's my only advice. Just treat people like people.
If a stripper is going to give me their number, I have no need for the number anymore, because now I need a change of pants and a cigarette. It's already over before anything starts. Chris, what about you? What are your thoughts on the subject?
I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. My wife listens to this podcast. No, I think that
you don't have to plead the fifth. Just lie.
I think it's horrible. I think all strip clubs should be outlawed, Scott. I think that it's disgusting that they're open. No, so giving your number to a stripper. Wow, that's like wow. What would even be a comparison to that? It's like a man. What are you doing? If you ever thought to give your number to a stripper, like there's Tinder today. I've never been on these dating sites, but they came out after my relationship with Emily. That's how long we've been together. But there's Tinder, there's Bumble, there's Grindr. There's all these things, and you're giving your number to a stripper. Like, you really have to look yourself in the mirror, see what's going on. Like, there's something going on. Like, these people are getting paid to fake their interest in you. They don't want your number. They do not want your number.
Counterpoint.
Oh, I love the counterpoints.
Please.
Counterpoint.
Please.
I've known many people who have dated dancers, so it is not an absolute impossibility. One time I went home for the holidays, and I came back only to find that there were two dancers living at my house.
Oh, and congratulations.
Well, no, neither of them were there for me. All I know is I came home, my house was a mess, and there were two topless ladies in the backyard, and I had to go out there and say, hey, you need to get off the strip and slide and either put your top back on or come inside, because there's a family with children like 2 doors down, and this is not appropriate.
When you asked them to come inside, did they get the wrong message?
Nobody liked me, obviously. I was not the most popular person in the house.
This is definitely the one that gets us kicked off Glacier.
Are there rules for Glacier? You need to like give us some guidelines or something before we come on this show.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
It's like a dancer. Before you come, you just got to let them know.
Yeah. Before anybody comes on this show, we need to know that you can't talk about.
Oh, wow.
Scott just destroyed the show.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening to the New Friends podcast.
You guys can be refugees on my podcast, I promise.
Refugees.
Well, and if you're on Chris's cruise ship, they can throw water bottles at us as we refuge.
It's international waters. It's allowed.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you guys. The stripper doesn't want your phone number at all, unless you're stripping in a Daytona Beach strip club on a Tuesday night. Then they definitely want your number.
Just let them ask you. Let them ask you.
Right. Yeah, let them ask you. I'm down with that. That's fair. Every week, Ryan brings us 2 news stories. One is from New Jersey. One is from Florida. It is up to us to guess where it's from. Take it away, Ryan.
Hey, guys. This is Ryan coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom, located this week at a mini golf course, or as Chris would call it, a golf course. I came down to hang out with the No New Friends crew to have some fun playing golf. We were going to go to Topgolf, but after your guys' description made it sound a little bit like a Turkish bathhouse, I decided it really wasn't my thing. We were going to go bowling instead, but the lightest ball they had there was 3 pounds, and that's still a little too heavy for Chris. And Mary still has 5-pound elbows, so that wasn't the best choice for her. And on top of all that, there's an arcade at the bowling alley, and the court said that Scott can't go near an arcade after that incident in 2015. Speaking of the king of awkward, here he comes now. How you doing today, Scott?
You too.
You too? Scott, I was asking how you were doing.
Nice sweater.
The hell's my sweater have to do with anything? Nice cargo pants, I guess?
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Scott, you just got here.
Thanks.
You're welcome? Jeez, it's no wonder people with the same last name as you are pretending like they're not related to you. It's like having a conversation with Joe Biden. Why don't you just calm down there, Tiger, and we'll enjoy a round of golf. Okay, time to tally up the scores, and it looks like Mary won, even with her heavy elbows. Oh man, Emily warned me about this. Chris is a really sore loser. He's throwing a temper tantrum. And now he's throwing his club at the windmill. He's tossed himself on the ground, he's kicking and screaming. While we get him a Happy Meal to calm him down, let's get into this week's Florida Man or Jersey Man. And in our first story, after an 8-hour standoff with police, a man says he was just shooting at rodents in his yard. And in our second story, a man discovers a kitchen knife sticking out the side of his Amazon package.
All right, so we've got Amazon knife and shooting rodents in the yard. We'll start with Sarah. What do you think?
Oh, first one's got to be Florida.
Shooting rodents in the yard.
Yeah.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why, but for some reason that just sounds very Florida to me. Actually,
Okay.
they both do, but you know.
Right.
Is this a trick question?
Could be. He's never done that to us. Ryan, what do you think?
Oh gosh, the water table in Florida is so high, like its residents. I'm going to say the rodents are not in Florida. They're in New Jersey. So the
Oh.
Amazon package is probably in Florida.
We call them people up here, Ryan, but okay.
But can you
Chris,
ask them out at work?
Only on Tuesdays in Daytona. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go rodents in Florida. Just any opportunity to shoot something, I feel like would just be Florida. So by default, the knife would be, and you know, stabbings are not uncommon up here. So
Yeah, but the cops showed up, so
yeah, but we don't. Oh yeah, you're right, because New Jersey does want to abolish the police, so the police would not show up. Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna stick to my guns though. I think that rodents being shot would definitely be a Florida thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go rodents, Florida, and Amazon package, New Jersey as well. All right, let's find out the answers.
So our first story was from Florida, where a Palm Harbor man was arrested for firing 5 shots at rats in his backyard. Deputies showed up and had an 8-hour standoff with him, where he was apparently asleep the whole time. We learned last week that Chris's wife had pet rats when she was younger, which makes sense why she married Chris. He's small, furry, beady eyes. He's always in your house uninvited, and he's a pain to get rid of. And our second story is from New Jersey, where a man ordered a box of raisins off of Amazon and found a sharp blade sticking out the side of it. Jesus, even the packages in New Jersey are trying to stab you. And who the hell orders raisins off of Amazon? And in other news, a French artist created a robotic mouth that chants AI-generated prayers. This thing is terrifying. Here's what it sounds like. Now, this thing looks like a fleshlight and a guillotine. This must be really offensive to Scott because he's very Catholic. Scott's so Catholic, he even looks like a pregnant virgin. That's it for me this week, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
That might be the sickest bird I've ever heard. Oh my god, I just had a religious experience hearing about how Catholic you are.
Oh, I'm gonna use that thing. Oh my god!
Thank you, Ryan.
I surrender. I'm at best second best Ryan.
Okay, Chris, do you have any cliff notes?
I have a couple. I could write cliff notes on just that Jersey man, Florida man. There was some good headlines this week because I've been looking at the news now, and the news is just too funny to not laugh about. So I was looking at the news, so I want to start off some cliff notes on the week, and I did read that the doomsday clock moved 90 seconds to midnight, which means now we are now 90 seconds closer to the end of the world. Thank God. So today, the list of nominations for the Oscars came out. Did you see that? I took a look at the list myself, and honestly, the only time I saw anything whiter was when Scott gave me a tour of his neighborhood. An Oregon lawmaker introduces, this sounds like a Jersey man, Florida man headline. An Oregon lawmaker introduces a bill that would ban the sale of kangaroo parts. And mind you, this is the same state where they, a couple of years ago, they just legalized the use of all drugs. So the politicians are drawing the line at the sale of kangaroo parts. So use, smoke your meth. But no, you're going too far if you're trying to sell me this kangaroo foot.
Oregon was also founded as a whites only state, so they don't have a great history with drawing lines. Seriously.
And lastly, for headlines, as most of you know, because we do have a lot of listeners in Florida, Splash Mountain closed for good just recently because of it was founded the movie. It was founded on a racist movie. It was modeled after like a very racist movie. So people were angry about this. The ride closing. I haven't seen that many angry white people storm an establishment built on racism since January 6, 2021. That was quite a sight to see. So anyway, now going on to the podcast. In the first segment, my intro, actually, I usually find a movie quote while Scott is introducing Mary, but tonight he made me finish faster than he does. Spoiler alert, very quick. Very quick. When describing her technology, Sarah said that she is more into vintage things. Sarah, I think you'd get along with Scott's wife really well. She has never outright said that she liked vintage things, but I think marrying Scott spoke for itself. And lastly, in segment 2, we talked about non-binary and gay widows, which is very uncharacteristic of our show because we're not very controversial on here. So tune in next week where we are going to shout our income and proclaim our religious beliefs. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that.
I think we did. With
I know.
Scott.
I wrote this before our conversation. Actually, this is. I guess it's
We're
this
gonna
week.
have a cliff notes to your cliff notes.
And those are my cliff notes for the week.
Thank you, Chris. You made my night. This is my favorite part of the show. Don't tell any of the other Ryans.
Hey, it's Alex from Diz His, and unlike the current podcast to listen to, we are looking for friends. So head over to dizhiz.com or find us on all social media at dizhiz65 or on your podcast platforms, search for Diz His, D-I-Z-H-I-Z. Myself with Joe, Jen, and even Chris. We take a Disney subject every week and go over the history, as well as any information we might know ourselves. Again, find us on any podcast platforms under Diz His.
Chris, what do you got coming up on Diz His?
You know, it's hard for me to think about what's coming up on Diz His because I was just informed that my wife hates me.
Oh no! Why does your wife hate you, Chris?
Hold on, I just need to compose myself, Scott. The other day she said, hold on, I'm sorry. The other day, she said I was bad at planning vacations, Scott.
You know, there's someone who can help you with that.
Damn it. Nick from Sandpiper Vacations, I owe you my life. You saved my marriage. I went to sandpipervacations.com. I filled out a free quote. I did not forget to let him know that the No New Friends podcast sent me. And in record timing, he sent me back a planned vacation, Scott. I took it to my wife, and she accepted me back in her home, Scott. I bet we're back together. It's beautiful. So if you or a loved one want to plan a vacation, you can go head over to sandpipervacations.com. Reach out to Nick, who is the owner. Reach out for a free quote. Tell him the No New Friends podcast sent you. Having a rocky marriage because you suck at planning vacations? Hey, it's a perfect guy for you. He saves marriages. Better than any marriage counselor I could have ever went to.
So now he's a marriage counselor. Fantastic.
This week, we're doing the history on the Italian pavilion? The Italy pavilion?
That sounds racist.
Italy
But go
pavilion.
on.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the way where I'm not offending Italian people. We're doing the history on the pavilion that represents Italy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious. I'm curious.
That's not a very big pavilion.
My last name's Placetti. Let's do this.
What, Scott?
That's not a very big pavilion. I mean,
no,
it's
not.
There's a statue that used to be a smoking area. There's a big pillar in the middle where a mime plays soccer.
All right,
There's
here's
two
yeah.
different pizza restaurants, and then there's
okay,
a
here,
bar.
Scott. Okay, I'm
This is
gonna
Sbarro's and Little
ask you guys.
Caesar.
Actually, you can all chime in on this. All right, there's 3 hosts on the Diz His podcast, right? And each of us take turns picking a subject for the week, right? Who do you think picked this one? I'm gonna give you our last names, and you could just pick the last name. Co, Yob, Interdonato.
Well, I'm having a hard time figuring this out. Could you maybe include their mother's maiden names, the year they graduated high school, and maybe the last 4 of their social?
So, spoiler alert, it's the one that ends with an O.
Well, Co ends with a
E.
Oh, it does end with an O.
But
Oh,
close.
it does end with an E.
It's an
right?
OC.
yeah.
It's
It's a silent E.
never seen it in writing.
Yeah.
I'm
Scott
sure this
has, he's
episode's
just not
going to be
good at spelling.
fantastic, talking about the smallest pavilion other than Africa at Epcot.
Didn't even know Africa was
Wait,
a pavilion.
time out. Does Africa have a they gave
Yeah, can we
Italy
talk
a
about that for a
pavilion, then they
second?
gave the entire fucking continent of Africa a pavilion?
Well, listen, just like everything else, they just need to, just so they don't seem like they're racist. Like, listen, they're remodeling Splash
Representation.
Mountain to Princess and the Frog because they were called racist. So they had to throw in a little like kiosk that is like African food.
Well, what were
That's
they
all
going to
it
do?
is.
Tear
It's
down they were going to tear down the entire ride just because it was based on Song of the South?
No, they did.
No. They
No,
closed the
they
ride
did.
because it's based on Song of the South. But they're going
Oh.
to tear down the infrastructure.
Oh,
Yes,
people
by all
were asking
means,
for it.
rebrand that. But
Hey, it's
let's not throw money
genius.
away. This is Disney, goddammit.
The Africa Pavilion is literally a quick service walk up thing where you can get some food, some drinks, a couple of bongos.
Awkwardly,
and a
also
little,
based on Song of the
hut of
South.
a gift.
Not the same bongos in Daytona Beach, right?
God, I would go there. I would go
Yeah.
there. My
I
wife
would
and
have
I
known
would
there
go
was
there,
a pavilion.
fistful of dollars.
So, but you're not talking about the Africa Pavilion. You're talking about the Italy Pavilion. I can't wait to hear the history or the one history item that you have on Italy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Alex was complaining to me is, oh man, I'm not gonna have time to edit the No New Friends podcast, and I gotta do the history on the Italy Pavilion. I said, well, that's gonna be very quick, Alex.
Yeah.
So tune in if you're curious on how long he's gonna be able to make it. Alex is a magician, so I don't
he
doubt
is.
his work.
If you'd like to connect with DizHiz or check them out, DizHiz65 on all social media or DizHiz.com. Ryan, where can everybody find you?
On the internet, you'll find.
We actually asked for the addresses of our guests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you could
that's
just
what he meant.
give that out on the air.
I live in southeastern Pennsylvania in Amish country, so if you just stop the nearest man in a horse-drawn cart with a beard and ask him where I live, he'll let you know. You can find me at on all of your podcasting platforms. We are Don't Wreck Yourself. Like I said, it's a podcast for podcasters, and like podcasters are my biggest fans. You can find us on
so
social
good.
media, Wreck Your Pod, pretty much everywhere. And if you weren't offended by any of the things that I said here tonight, here on this show, you can always tune into my show where I will do far less damage.
And Sarah, what about you?
Well, coming soon. We'll put it that way.
Okay, coming soon.
You know, Lola and I we'll collaborate and figure out what we're gonna do. In the meantime, though, you know, I have an Instagram page where I sell vintage clothes, so you can always have people head over there.
Oh, well, where can you find you on Instagram?
Old Soul Thrift.
Old Soul
on
Thrift.
Instagram.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. And stay tuned to the Nerd Archive podcast.
Yeah.
You know, the podcast for, they talk about all the nerdy things that you got beat up for liking in high school. And I'm sure they'll announce when you have your podcast. I'm sure you'll get to pitch it there. I hope.
I hope so. I have a hype man, you know, he's fantastic. Yeah. Hopefully
check
I'll
out
be back on there soon.
Awesome. Check out Nerd Archive podcast. Lewis is doing some weird dance in the background.
It's normal.
Can I get his number?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Check out Remy's Roundtable, the theme park podcast. Check out Big Beautiful Diz on YouTube. That's it's Dane doing Disney stuff. And you can hear our interview on Dane Interviews Chris and I did a couple weeks ago. Also, Studio 21, the baseball podcast. Join us on Twitch every Wednesday night where we do the first segment. And then also, sometimes on Wednesday night, but Wednesday Night Football with the Bubba Job. And he's getting close to the end of the season. He's playoff run. Things are really happening. You can check out all of that. Just visit our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our sweet merchandise, join our Patreon, become a Clubhouse member. That's a friend with benefits, and you can watch us record this nonsense live every week. On behalf of Mary, Chris, Mrs. Nerd Archive, Sarah, Don't Wreck Yourself podcast, Ryan, our producer, Alex, Game Master, Ryan, I'm Scott. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.